So I'm back here with Mattie, and today we're going to talk about the cows and farm animals in general. Mattie, can you tell me a little about the farming?
Well, to tell you the truth, the last I was talking to, we were talking about the cow, and I was saying how precious an animal she was. She's an animal that she'll give you milk, and she'll give you butter, and she'll give you cheese, and she'll give you yogurt, and a lot of ice cream, and whatever. She'll do all that. No one knows how she can do it, but a lot of people doesn't understand how she can do it. And it's just about explaining it. And if you have that cow and you put her into a nice field of grass, flowers in it, no manure, and it's all organic, and that cow, whatever it does to her system, she'll be quiet. She'll come to the gate at 6 o'clock in the evening if you train her to do that, and you can go out and milk every hand with a stool. And she'll go off and be happy and eat grass for an hour or two and lie down and rest herself. You can do that with a cow. That's as precious as I've seen a cow in this country. And it's the same with every animal. And I'd have to say that a cow to me would be more precious than a tractor. Try and imagine how a cow can... there's a fella said to me one time, and I'm going to ask you this question, you can think about it. Why does a black cow eat green grass and give white milk? Can anyone answer that question now?
Well, I can't.
Well, you can, Paul. Well, I leave people to think about, I used to ask the kids to be home on holidays, and they'd go back and they'd suss in the schools and find out the levesses for the summer holidays, and they'd be inquiring and they'd always ask you, how does a cow produce 8 green grass and give white milk, a black cow? And it was always a puzzler. But I always leave it with them. I'd never tell them. I'd tell them other things, but I'd never tell them that. So it's out there for any young kid to be asked and see what it does. It may get your mind thinking, That's what it's about. So the sad thing about this cow, and a horse is no different, he'll work, and if you train him and look after him well and give him this grass, I've seen the day he'd do all the work. You can train him to do anything, a horse. And a lot of people, they're not working horses now, but there's a lot of people who love a pony, or young lasses that love a pony, and they have this pony, he'll do this for them and he'll do that for them. And if you train them and look after them, that's what it's about. And like the last time I was talking to you, Paul, there, I saw a dog is a dog. I said things, people was like dogs. But a dog is like that anyhow. If a bitch comes along, he's that way. But there's a difference in a dog, and this situation is, a dog is faithful to his master. He's faithful to the humans. I have dogs there, and they're very faithful, in that respect. And they're only animals. A human is supposed to be a human. There's a difference here. And the dog is second, and the human is his master. But the dog is faithful to his master. But he has this other thing, he's not conscious of it. So I'd have to think even the human that's supposed to be, he's not even as good as a dog. Would you think?
Well,
he's something else. He's not a dog.
Yeah.
He's worse than a dog, because he's not faithful either, and that's the way I'd look at it. But anyhow, this cow, and she can do all this for you, and you have all this on account of this poor cow, and she's entitled to be looked after and fed and whatever. And then we come along, she gives us all this, and we come along and we use, she doesn't even have a happy time. We use straws. She has no sexual pleasure at all. We use AI straws, and it's called, to me, it's buggery. Doing that up a cow's back end, or private end. It's buggery. And another thing to do with cows is to take their embryons, steal all away from them. They take their embryons out of them and they put them into other cows. And they destroy that cow, and they destroy maybe how many embryos you have, every other cow. And you create a wild breed of animal, a different breed. And they're all fed on nitrogen and force feeding. And you go down the line and you do that. And like I meant, it's a serious carry on, and every animal is the same. And to come along here now, we go down to the sheep. That cow now, she produces more of the cheese, she produces your beef as well. Now that's what the beef comes. That cow is responsible for producing that. And it'll only be right if you feed her right and look after her right. And we go on into the sheep. Much the same, you get lamb chops, you get legs of lamb, and you have them for the dinner. And this sheep here, there's another situation, a bogey here with her, the sponger. Put a sponge in her to have a big crop and to have fertility right, and I'd say that's more bogey. What do you think, Paul? It's more bogey, and it's a mortal sin to do that to a sheep. That's a sin. It's bogey and it's greed. The same with the cow. It's a greed situation. It's one of the deadly sins, greed. Serious. Would you agree, Paul? It's a fact now, and sure, I'll go on and on about every animal, and I'll try and, there's a lot more I could say, but this country here, it's a land of saints and scholars. It's supposed to be, no matter where you go. The land of saints and scholars, and one time the people was very proud to be here, in this country. But I have a feeling it's far removed from that. I'd like to see a many saints and a many scholars is in it, or find out. What do you think, Paul? Or what way it be? So, for the simple reason here, we talked about the cow and the animal is second. And I'll go further on to the land now. And the land it's our country. It's like I always said, it's my town and it's my country and it's my say-so. And it's up to every man to have a say-so. And there ain't no man or woman greater than another. Let no one tell you anything different. It's your say-so. And you go with what's right. You don't have to go with what's wrong. If you're a man, you go with what's right. And you do what you know is right. And you don't have anything to do with a man that's going with wrong, because he's not worth spit in the river. Now, that'd be my view of it. So, we're just talking about ripping the insides out of a cow and out of a sheep, and I have no pleasure, and they give you all these things. The sheep, she gives you milk, mutton, chops, legs of lamb. She gives it all to you. If you handle her right now, she's as good or as bad as you handle it. Then we have the land. It provides for all, provided you handle it out right. And if you force this land and you put fertilizer on it, well, it can't do its job to the animals and it can't do its job to the human. So you're not a man for doing that either of them things, bogey or abusing the land that feeds for all, feeds the whole lot of us here. And the land, it's the motherland. Now, I often watch films there, and the German people out there, in the films of the war, they call it the fatherland. They're proud because it's the fatherland, and real proud there. And that's the way we should be. Very proud like them, like the Germans is in the father. We should be very proud that it's our land. Maybe there's another way to explain it. It gets us all here. It feeds us, it looks after us. If we do, we knows is right. And then it claims us in the land. That's the way the system works. People might understand that. And without any thought of all, it's the motherland. It's like your own mother. That's what it is. And what do we do with it here? If you look around, what do we do with it? We tear the insides out of it. Dangerous machinery. We pulled the insides out of it. It gave us all that we needed, and this is what we do. Rip it to pieces. Leave nothing for the next generation. There's nothing left for them. And they don't know anything about it. And it seems to me no one ever told them about it. So, I think it's time to wetty old Ireland and appreciate what you have here. Would you not say so, Paul? So, Sure, I can go on, and a lot of it is about deadly sins and lust and greed, and there's another one there, and I'll cut through the chase. Blasphemy. It's an awful thing to take someone's character. It's all a man ever had and all he's ever going to have. The same as murdering a man. You know, if you take away his life, that's all he's ever going to have. All he had and ever going to have. If you take that away, he has nothing. But the most important thing a man has is his character, or a woman. And if you define his character, it was in the Bible. It was better for him that a millstone be tied round his neck and him cast to the depths of the sea for doing a thing. You understand like that? And every man that goes to Mass, any Mass going man here, or woman, because the idea of Mass here is so that you know the rules. And anyone that taught about looking at the commandments, the last I was talking about, they're there. 10 commandments. They're just the rule for life. And I think there's 7 deadly sins. I won't say for sure, but lust and greed, they're there. And it tells you what's the sins. You know, lustful sins. Marrying for lust. Marrying for greed. Marrying a lassie that has a big farm of land, a big business, just because she has it and she's getting it. You know she's getting it. So you're married there for greed again. You know what I mean? And, you know, and there's all kinds of them, they're all sinful. So it's not doing it for the right and honourable reasons. You know, like, I mean, if you were doing it for the right and honourable reasons, you'd be happy to live in a tent along the road. Now, that's as good as it gets. And happy days, and that's the way I'd feel about it anyhow, and that's the way people did feel about it back in the years. And it's sad to see that young people goes along today, and the marriage, they think of marriage, and before marriage they think of a big house, you know, and gates, and, you know, and 7 or 8 bedrooms and all the conveniences in it. And actually, in my opinion, is what they do is they just come out of school, they put a noose round their necks, and they're hanging there for the rest of their days. Some of them it'll finish them, and some it'll break their marriages up, and it'll do all kinds of destructions. You know, it will. Like, no one wants that. And I'll have to say the system is a lonesome system. And it takes people where they really don't want to go. That's what I think of the system here. In the world, not talking about my country here. And I say to hell with the system, and I mean to hell with the system. You know, it's up to you what you want to do with it, if you think about it. Any man that wants to speak up and say what he'd like to do with it, because it just tears the guts out of the people themselves. Because you come along here, and no matter where you go, there was a time here, if you had £5 you could buy something. If you had €50 a day, it's not worth spitting the river. You know, go down the shop, it's worth nothing. Get petrol or get groceries, it's gone. And the situation about it's sad to see that the local people around and they have to drive to Dublin. You know, and we have a motorway here. We were better off we never seen it. I can never understand why that motorway was built. And all it's doing is it's bringing more people into the city. It's for no unknown reason to me, you know. And I go up there, I'm not a man goes up that motorway very often, but I feel, if you know what I'm talking about, when I hit that motorway, I feel I'm playing a game called Russian roulette. You know, if you know what Russian roulette is, anyone to find out what it is. And my opinion of this motorway was, you see, there was a situation in the Bible, if you go to Mass and listen to it, death must be destroyed. It's about 5 to 6 weeks ago. It was in the Gospel Sunday, or the Sunday morning, what's that, right? Or Sunday morning. And the chief saying, you know, I'm listening to this for years, death must be destroyed. You know, it seems like a foolish question, but it's really not a foolish question if you look at it for the right and honourable reasons. we have a situation out here in the world, I'd say, I'm not talking of the country, well, I know in this country of mine that I care so much about, it's happening. It's only locally it happened, and it's only in the last couple of days. And, you know, it breaks your heart that there's more and more and more of this happening. You know, but that needs to be destroyed. You know, and that motorway was just, I had a long look at it. I was up with a friend on it a few times, and, you know, I had like I feel like you don't want to go back there now. You know, it's Russian roulette now. And the fact of the matter is that there's not a lot of planning put into that in this country. And no one seems to... You see, they always said about a man, no man plans to fail. He only fails to plan. Did you ever hear that in your life?
I did.
You did, Paul. And that's the way it is as far as I can see. So because anyhow, like I mean, if you think of this country, we have people here supposed to do what they know is right for the country, no disrespect to any man. And there's investors coming from Europe and coming from America and everything. And the need there is because they're saints and scholars. They need their ability here. You know, they need the ability. There's no one else fit to do it like the Irish people. They have the ability to do it. So they come along, and the Irish here, they don't give it to their own. They give them IDA grants to build a big place up in the city and congest the whole country, the city, and the ways around it. In my opinion, a place like that should be where the workers is. That place should be set up in the centre of the country where there's easy access to it. There's no access above in the city, is there?
No.
Like, I mean, if a man in Cavan, Malone County Cavan, gets a job in one of these places above in Dublin, he has to access the motorway every morning. And this motorway, this ground belonged to Ireland. And here we are, we have to pay someone else, some other investor, £6 every time I think you go through. Oh, it's costing me £18 a day to go to work. Like, I can't understand this, that people is paying £18, you know, tolls. That's what they tell me now. It's £6 for the toll and it's £5 for the toll. And it's not even gone back into your own country. Who allowed this to happen? Who signed this form, I want to know? You know, like, I mean, it's wrong as how the country should be, as far as I'm concerned, you know, and it's just madden you, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like a man that sign off a bit of your country like that, it's disgraceful. And the money they get, not a shilling of it earned. They wouldn't earn a shilling of it. I can't understand the Irish. And that, I understand that motorway is forever and ever and ever, because I understand there when the building went bad, that the Navan or the Meath County Council had to pay sometimes, had to have whatever was owed for the month when it fell short of, they had to take it out of council money to pay that bill for the motorway. This is what I was led to believe. You know, that they had to make up the difference. We'll say they were getting, 50,000 a month out of it, and it fell short, 14,000. They had to pay the 14,000 a month. It's some way to run a country, isn't it? You know, like, just because these people had money to invest in it, they've invested in the country, they've seen the opportunity to invest, they put the factory or whatever they got into it tax-free for 5 years. They left it where it congested the whole country, and people that was willing to work for that had to come from Cavan and whatever the case may be, and it seemed to be we were doing nothing, only adding to our problems. Would you agree? And like, it's the same in a lot of situations, and I don't know, but I'd say that people should try and think about that. You know, it's not just the marriage. And I was just come back on this, Paul. I was thinking of the marriage now. There's a lot of people might be on shaky ground, but I'm a man, I do like country music and all that, and, I like good music. But there's an American singer out there, great lass as she is, or whatever, and she's a great artist. She's Patty Loveless, and she has a song there. It's a great one. you don't even know who I am. And if you played that, you might have a look at your marriage. And when you have that one played, there's another one there. She plays, don't toss it away. It's a very important thing to see that sit in the lawn if it's a good day, Sunday, and listen to it and whatever. Listen to that song. It's a very, it causes not only destruction. And you spend your years, it explains all you built for years, together. And you toss it away in a minute. Like I'll say, have a look. It's important for anyone in a relationship to have a look at, or have a listen to it. A great singer and a hell of a backup band she has. And the best of luck to you. But I'm just saying about this, I'll go on back to where it was. And this country here is an island of saints and scholars. We could talk about every second, go on and on and on about it. And I'll have to say, this country is our country. It belongs to us. We were bred, born and reared here. And apart from if we weren't, we're in it all our life. And I reckon that any man that sets foot in this island, like I've heard them say here, there was a situation back years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago. I've heard it on the radio one morning. Apparently these fellas was coming in to join the police. They were wearing a turban. I don't know what nationality they were some nationality out there. And the question was asked, should they be allowed to wear this turban in this country? And, I could instantly think about that at the time. The view I had, and I was going to throw the radio out the window because I automatically had the answer. It wouldn't happen in another country like this. My view was, when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Exactly.
Yeah, you do. You obey the laws of this country. And if you come in to stay in this country, it's a holy land. And it's a land of saints and scholars. And the man above always said, you're entitled to earn your bread by the sweat of your brow. Every man is entitled to earn his bread by the sweat of his brow. I don't want to, it just annoys me what's going on. And that means any man that don't work, he don't eat. Bar, there's an exception that Jesus. We have old people here, senior people that's done their day's work, and they have to be looked after. The men of yesterday and the women of yesterday and the people of tomorrow has to be looked after. There's a need to do this. And there's other exceptions there. Any people that's not able to work now, no disrespect to them. It's a great country, and to do that, and that's all you're asked to do, and make sure the country runs that way. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
And so I'd say we're a while, we're a while talking now, and maybe I think we'll leave it at that, and so we'll have a chat another day, Paul, and try and...
Well, it was good to hear your views, Mattie, once again.
It's a view, and so if anyone has a view like me, and treat it right, and I'll say this, I'm dipping my sheep. I'm tired of dipping my sheep here. And, I'm putting them out to the ram, and they're going for breeding and all this. And I'd like to do it well, that they'll be clean and healthy and all. But I have a feeling here that there's no dipping going on in the human being. Any man that comes into this island, or any child that's born in this island, should be baptised.
Yeah.
Because the story is this: you heard the song, everyone heard it, it was in Paint Your Wagon, Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood, and the song went, heaven is in hello, hell is down below. I was born under a wandering star, he said. Mule was meant to pull, wheels was meant to roll. But that's all that man could ever know in his lifetime, because he wasn't baptised. He couldn't make a decision which side of the road to go on. Does anyone understand that?
Oh, yeah.
You understand that, Paul? So, we have problems, serious problems in this country here. that need to be sorted out, and it's very simple. When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. And if you have kids here, you baptise them. Very important to baptise them, because back in the years, and in any country, it depends, I'm talking about my own country, especially here. But back in the years when I was young, the grandmothers of the households, they urgently wanted kids to be baptised as soon as they were able to be baptised, as soon as they were born, as quick as you could. And the reason being was they were afraid that a child is innocent. Everyone comes into the world here, I can assure you, innocent as could be. They don't know. And they're innocent. It depends on which way they're brought. The parents bring them to the right-hand side of the line or to the left-hand side. You know, it's right and wrong. You learn all that as you go along. And if you learn it wrong, God knows you could end up a murderer. Or, you know, you can do, this is where you go. If you're not baptised. It's not your fault, but it's your parents or your, you know. So it's an essential to get people baptised for breeding purposes. It's like me dipping the sheep. I need to get them baptised or dipped for breeding purposes, that they'll be clean. And they'll know the rules about breeding. You know, and they'll do what they know is right. You understand me now?
I do, surely, yeah.
So I'd like to say, well, fair play. That's what all that fair play with me is about. And you don't need any money to do that. It doesn't cost you. It won't cost you nothing. And you'll have a good job done. And we might get the flower back in the sky here. It wasn't too bad this week. We got a couple of days. But without this, you'll grow nothing and you'll have no life. This flower in the sky. The sun is the most important thing, and it's badly needed. And if we don't try and get it sorted this year, we might be in the dark next year, in a hellhole. Is that fair enough?
That's a very good point, Matt. And we'll leave it at that, and we'll continue on next week.
Well, it's fair enough if there's need to be, and so we'll talk about something else. But
right then.
Right, fair enough.
Thanks, Matt.
Best of luck.
I'll talk to you next week.
Best of luck. Fair play.
Bye-bye.